to burn fat and build muscle at the same time. I'm sure you've heard this is impossible, and I'm sure you've heard this over and over again. But the truth is that if you have the right strategy, you can achieve both. In this video, I'm going to give you 7 science-backed steps to help you achieve body recomposition so you can look lean, strong, and feel your best. Let's dive in. So you have to first figure out what your primary goal is, okay? So while it is possible to burn fat and lose and build muscle at the same time, the approach is different depending on what you want to do. So want to lose fat while maintaining muscle, or want to gain muscle while gaining minimal fat. If you are fairly lean, focus on building muscle, okay, while losing fat. But if you are wanting to lose weight, start by focusing on fat loss first, then gain muscle, which you can do at the same time. So if you're focusing on fat loss first, obviously you got to be in a calorie deficit. You got to really focus on the intake of your food. So my suggestion would be to tracking your calories using a calorie tracker. Again, this is probably the most important thing about fat loss. You have to be in a calorie deficit. It doesn't matter no matter what, okay? So you have to really understand what you're intaking. And what you're intaking is going to be from proteins, fats, and carbs, okay? And making sure that you are calculating it to a T, because all those little things that you don't realize you are intaking make a difference. So you have to really make sure that you are incorporating from whatever meats, sauces, all those little things, stuff in your coffee, all that kind of stuff. Those things add up. So you have to really make sure the nutrition is on point, okay? And I talk about nutrition first because it is probably the most important thing. And it is probably the most important thing, and that's why it's number one. The next thing is strength training. Strength training is essential for building muscle. It doesn't matter. You legit can't do it any other way. I mean, you can body weight stuff, but after a while, the body becomes very, normal to it, and it won't be enough for you to continue to build muscle. Okay, you can do all the strategies from eccentrics, isometrics, all that stuff. Okay, but if you want to build more muscle, you're going to need, again, it doesn't need to be an insane amount of resistance. I try to tell people that it is a volume game. So when it comes to building muscle, it's a volume game. So as long as you're hitting the certain muscle groups throughout the day, throughout the week, in a certain amount of time, this is based on research, then you are going to build muscle on that muscle, basically. So again, strength training is important. Lifting weights is crucial for muscle gain and fat loss. Train with intensity. So train with intent, lifting heavy, aiming for progressive overload, making sure your sets and reps are properly set up based on your goal. Make sure you're getting enough rest in between sets. If you're working on strength, it's a minute to a minute and a half to 2 minutes. If you're working on some like hypertrophy where you want to build muscle, a minute is a good area to live at. Using big compound lifts are super important at the beginning to make sure that you are hitting, you're fresh. So hitting those compound lifts are important at the beginning and fresh. And then you can do your accessories, isolation exercises. So like if you're doing like bicep curls, triceps, all that kind of stuff. But compounds first, isolation exercise last. You can switch it up. Sometimes people will do some isos as like warm-ups. They can help with your compound lists, but that's a little bit more advanced kind of stuff. So if your goal is to increase muscle, incorporate more isolation work as well, like I said, and then, fat loss, just making sure you're hitting your whole body 3-4 days a week. The next thing that I would prioritize is kind of going back to nutrition, but this is really focusing on one specific macronutrient, and that is protein. Protein is essential to building muscle, is literally the like what you need to build muscle. You can't really build muscle without a significant amount of protein. And it's going to help you recomp your body. Again, I tell people that try to get close to your body weight in protein in grams per day if you want to lose fat and build muscle. It is essential to building muscle, and it is essential for prevention of muscle loss. So if you are in a fat loss phase, protein should be at least 40 to 45% of your muscle, of your calories, sorry. If you're building muscle, 30 to 40% is good. Again, carbs are essential as well. They're important because they are going to help you with energy to lift, do all the things you want to do. Because the first thing that is going to go is carbs. When you are lifting weights, the first thing that your body wants to take from you for energy is carbs. So it's essential that you have enough carbs in your body. Again, I wouldn't go lower than like 130, 140, because that's that's super important for recovery, but also just like giving yourself energy for a good workout. Another mistake and another thing you need to prioritize, again, kind of going back to nutrition, is setting your calories correctly. Cutting calories too aggressively can actually hurt your goal of losing fat and muscle. Or, obviously, eating too much too fast, too soon, when you get to a certain weight. So what I'm going to suggest is, for a fat loss, you want to reduce your calories anywhere between 100 to 300 calories per day, and then reassess every couple weeks. I suggest this is a way to track, to make sure that you are, in a calorie deficit. Do that for a few weeks, see if that is going to help you lose weight. If you are looking to gain muscle, again, this is kind of where the people have an issue. It's like when I'm in a fat loss, when do I how much protein should I eat? I'd still focus on the ideal body weight in protein, even in a fat loss phase. When you want to put on muscle, you're going to want to eat a little bit more food. So you're going to want to eat a little bit more than you normally would, maybe 100 to 300 calories more, and then reassess and see. You can use an InBody to check your body composition. You can use a DEXA scan to check your body composition. If you want to go a cheaper route, just use the InBody. Just make sure when you do the InBody, you are following the protocol to give you the the best results. So that's my next. The next thing is cardio. I don't discourage doing cardio, but you have to really be strategic when you are doing cardio. If you want to be in a fat loss phase and you want to burn calories, my suggestion would be just walk. Walking is a great exercise. You hit your steps. You're doing some movement. Anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes a day is a good number if you can do that. Again, you don't need to do 30, 45 minutes all at once. You can split 10 minutes throughout the day. If you want to burn a little bit more calories, I would do some sprints, short sprints, maybe long sprints. Again, don't go crazy. Maybe start off with 4 or 5 and then maybe add 1 a week. Again, it could be not too long. It can be 20, 30 yards, and then, progressively either you're going to add a more rep or you're going to go a longer distance. One or the other. You can't do both, because that will potentially cause injury, overuse. So don't do too much too fast, or too many changes too fast. Um, One thing about steady state cardio is, again, it's great for your heart. There is potential for muscle loss only if you are not eating enough calories. Again, that's only if you're not eating enough calories. So you need to understand that you can do steady state like jogging or whatever, but you have to make sure that you're maintaining a certain calorie deficit, but also a certain calorie amount to make sure that you don't lose too much muscle, just because you could potentially just use the muscle as energy. So what I would suggest is making sure, again, going back to the protein, that you're eating enough protein to sort of offset that muscle potential loss if you're doing steady state cardio. Again, don't really, the next tip I would say is the next tip I would say is don't really, focus on the scale number. I always suggest to people that just really try to look at body composition. So you're going to focus on muscle and you're going to focus on fat loss. Okay, we want to see numbers of muscle go up and we want to see numbers of fat loss go down. Potentially your body weight might stay the same, but metabolically your body is building muscle and building a more healthy body because you have more muscle in your body and you have less fat, which is going to burn more calories throughout the day, which is going to allow you to lift more weights, be stronger, be more mobile, be able to be more independent, do all the things that you enjoy doing regularly. So you're not, and again, this is important as you get older. Recomposition, even younger individuals as they get older, they're going to lose muscle starting at 30, 10% every decade. So you have to make sure that you are maintaining muscle mass and still trying to build muscle mass as you get older. So again, ways to track is progress pics, how your clothes fit, doing it in body, DEXA scan to see your body composition. Are your strength numbers improving? If your strength numbers are improving, that means you're getting stronger, so you're making progress. So it's not always about the scale if progress is the goal here. Remember, this will take time. Again, 3, 6, 12 months, but be consistent week after week. I'm telling you, trust the plan, your results will come. Again, burning fat while building muscle is definitely possible. Again, if you follow these tips and these strategies, you will lose fat and build muscle. You will feel a lot better. You will see the clothes that you enjoy wearing feel better on your body. If you find these tips very helpful, again, please click the subscribe button. I appreciate it. I'm going to keep providing more tips on longevity, athletic performance, building muscle as you age, nutrition, all that kind of stuff. So take these steps, try to implement one or two, and then go crush your goals. Again, this is Julian from Prepare for Performance. Have a great day. Peace.